for the way the mountain slopes down from the north towards the city. They would take advantage of that in the winter. As the water would flow, they would have these pools that would trap and then store the water. And then they'd have all these systems, channels and so on, and tunnels taking the water from the pools to where they needed it. One of the reasons they needed so much water, well, not just for the usual reasons, but before people went up to the temple, what did they have to do? Purify themselves, immerse in a ritual bath. There were dozens, in fact, dozens of public ritual baths. You needed water for them, and just for the usual water supply that Jerusalem needed. So there were water pools in this area, and there was one specific one that was considered to be a healing place, where often people would come. So we will now hear of the event that takes place here. And Sonia, could you please read to us?
The reading is from John 5, verse 1 to 15, the healing at the pool. Sometime later, Jesus went up to Jerusalem for a feast of the Jews. Now there is in Jerusalem near the sheep gate pool, which is Aramaic, is called Bethsaida, and which is surrounded by 5 covered colonnades. Here a great number of disabled people used to lie, the blind, the lame, the paralyzed. One who was there had been an invalid for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and learned that he had been in this condition for such a long time, he asked him, "Do you want to get well again?" "Sir," the invalid replied, "I have no one to help me into this pool. When the water is stirred up, while I am trying to get in, someone else goes down ahead of me." And Jesus said to him, "Get up, pick up your mat and walk." At once the man was cured. He picked up his mat and walked. The day on which this took place was a Sabbath. And so the Jews said to the man who had been healed, "It is the Sabbath. The law forbids you to carry your mat." But he replied, "The man who made me well said to me, 'Pick up your mat and walk.'" So they then asked him, "Who is this fellow who told you to pick it up and walk?" The man who was healed had no idea who it was, for Jesus had slipped away into the crowds that was there. Later Jesus found him at the temple and said to him, "See, you are well again, so stop sinning, or something worse may happen to you." The man went away and told the Jews that it was Jesus who made him well.
Healing on the Sabbath would be, let's put it this way, if nowadays, in order to see a doctor on the Sabbath, you must drive and you must violate the Sabbath in order to be healed, can you? May you? As in ancient times, definitely. The Jewish law says preservation of life comes before observing the Sabbath. So the criticism here was not for being healed, was for carrying the mattress. Because carrying that, according to certain interpretations, would already be considered work. And that was the issue that was questioned. Not about the healing, about the carrying of the mattress. Okay? The other claim to fame of this place beyond the remnants of the pools are this church, the St. Anne Church, which is probably the best preserved Crusader church in the country. Same name to St. Anne Church, honoring Anne, the mother of Mary, who there is a tradition that this is where she lived. This is where she was from originally. And the acoustics in this church are absolutely amazing. We could hear the group that was singing there as we passed by. And I guess if there's no group singing for us while we're there,
Sweet.
and you proved yesterday that you can. So let's carefully pass there without disrupting them and go into the church.